Let's get going here.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining our Leveraging Market Stats to Boost Your Business series. This is a monthly series that we've been doing here at Miami Association of Realtors for almost 2 years. And what we do is we go over the latest South Florida real estate statistics. The Miami Association of Realtors, we own the Southeast Florida MLS. So these are our data. This is our statistics. We are the source of real estate in South Florida. And so every month we come together here and we go over the latest statistics, but more importantly, the analysis, the trend lines, where's the market going? How could realtors use this information to get more sales, get more listings, etc. And what makes this program such a success is the different leaders that come on every single month, because they are the ones, they have the boots on the ground, and that's why it's a success. And today we're very fortunate to have the 2023 Miami Chairman of the Board, Ines Hegedus-Garcia. Ines, how are you doing? Thank you for being here.
You know what? This is so exciting. I know that I did one of these about a year ago, and you're just so good at pulling the best out of our leaders for these leveraging market stats. And hopefully our listeners will get some great tips by the time we're done. So thank you for having me, Chris.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, thank you for being here. We're gonna make it worth your while. We produced a lot of graphics. Wait until you see our PowerPoint over the next hour. And so first question, Ines, right off the bat is, we have a lot of new viewers that are watching us here. And could you put into words, why is this important? I'll be devil's advocate. The realtors, let's say the realtors, we just want to sell houses. I just want to sell a house. Why is it important to know statistics? Can you put that into words?
Oh my God, why is it not important? So can we start with that? Listen, I always tell agents that we not only are boots in the ground, like what you're saying, but we need to have an elevator pitch. As realtors, the number one question we get is, how's the market? And if you don't know how to be creative and answer that in a way that is different, that captures the consumer's interest, then you're missing on something great. We're always saying Miami, it's so big and we have so many micro markets. You better know your area really, really well. And it's not like you're going to do research if someone says, how's the market? You better know it right off the bat. So I love to tell my agents, know price per square foot, know the average sales in an area, know the difference of the market a year ago from today, know how to come up with objections when a buyer says, oh, I think the market's about to collapse. So you need to be ready with answers and really great information and prove that you're an expert. At the end of the day, we're trying to prove that, number one, get the client's trust, and then that we really know the area and we really understand what's going on. And what you do for us as realtors, Chris, on a monthly basis, providing this incredible amount of stats and data that we're able to extrapolate our own way, because at the end of the day, I'm a believer that not only provide useful information, but in a way that makes sense to you. Every realtor is different. Everyone's going to have a different perspective or interpretation of data. So just have fun with it at the end of the day too. Grab the data and now with what we're doing with economic insights, we're going to have so much fun today. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, definitely. I love it. Great job. And also, thank you for those comments, but also have to shout out our design team. We have the best design team, George Yovette, David Garcia, Oliver Lopez, Bolivar Bique Peterson, all-star team. They helped us, this PowerPoint here. So thank you to them. And so let's move on to our agenda here. This is what we're going over. We're going over our January 2023 statistics. And just to let everybody know why there is a delay there, I know there's been a question, but Miami Association of Realtors, Florida Realtors, and the National Association of Realtors, we give realtors 15 days after the month, because not all realtors update their list, their closing in the MLS at January 31. So that's why there's a delay, and that's why we're releasing them here. But as you'll see, Florida Realtors NAR is also releasing their statistics today. Okay, and so our next Leveraging Stats webinar will be March 21st with Alfredo Pujol. Please join us. Registration is open. You could see it on our website. This is being recorded. This is going to be on MiamiRealtorsLive.com. You'll have the presentation and the link there to review if you can't stay for us the whole way through. And also wanted to put this very up, up front, sfmarketintel.com. This is where we put all of our statistics, all of our January reports, all of our infographics, all of our market focused videos that we do, all of our international research. We try to put it all in one site, sfmarketintel.com. So please bookmark that. And next, okay, Ines, let's get to the hottest topic in real estate. It continues to be the hottest topic in real estate. So just to recap, 2021 started at 3% rates, went all the way up to 7.18 in October, decreased, and now it's starting to trend up. But overall, Ines, when you look at mortgage rates, what impact are you seeing from buyers and sellers?
You know what? I think the reality is that we were spoiled by 2% and 3% mortgage rates, and going up to 6% may seem huge to some people, but it's still an amazing rate. So Miami tends to be a little bit different than the rest of the country. So we set the pace, and media channels are constantly just giving generalized news about the whole country. So it's our role as local realtors in Miami to differentiate what's happening in Miami to the rest of it. Obviously, interest rates are interest rates, right? So you have a buyer that says to you, wait a minute, I'm waiting for that market to collapse because I can't afford the same house today that I could a year and a half ago. And it's your job to grab the appreciating numbers, historic appreciation of real estate, and grab those mortgage rates and do the math for them and say, listen, that's fine if you want to wait, but this is what you're going to miss out on. And if we continue to appreciate, because Miami continues to be an appreciating real estate market, some buyers are going to miss out on a great opportunity even at 6%. So it's a matter of obviously knowing your client, knowing what their particular situation is, and then taking into consideration other factors in our market, like appreciation, to know whether or not it's a good time to buy. And not one shoe fits everybody. So it's a matter of just be the expert and really help your clients understand what that climbing appreciation is. Now, from our chief economist, I learned something, and I love reading her monthly economic reviews, is she expects these mortgage rates to go to 5% by the end of the year. So yeah, we're going to see fluctuations a little bit, on this graph that you're showing shows exactly that. But know that the fluctuation by the end of the year is just going to be lower. Now, what that 1 point is going to do to you, if the appreciation is 3%, but your mortgage rate went down 1%, you're still going to afford less property. So the right time may be now. Do the math. Help your clients do the math.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. Great job. Okay, so let's move on to, these are, okay, so say the rates are 6%, 7%. These are some ideas for realtors to get creative. Ines, any of these, I know some of these were used, before when rates were, 18% or whatever, but what's your opinion on these options here?
Do you know what? I love working with really creative mortgage brokers that are going to make it easy for your customer to be able to afford whatever they're looking for right now. Whether you want to leverage some money, and you know what, from out of the country, people love to hear our low interest rates. So you have people that have the cash but are still going to leverage their money because our interest rates at 6% are still ultra low compared to what their country is doing. So being creative is always a really great thing. Talk to your mortgage broker, see what programs they have, see what they can offer. I mean, buying mortgage points, that's nothing new. But obviously it may work for some people. And then there are really great lending programs right now that are really thinking outside the box. Just talk to your mortgage broker. I think the mistake that we make as realtors is that we think we can wear all these hats, and I don't expect all realtors to know what programs are out there, but just have a nice team of mortgage brokers that you can ask. We have great mortgage affiliates with Miami Realtors that can really help you identify what programs works with what particular client.
Yeah, no, that's great, especially for new realtors that are on and have a team, like she says, exactly. Okay, so before we get into the January statistics, wanted to tease the statistics. This is something we looked at the data that came in, and these two numbers jumped off the page in terms of leading indicators. Total pending sales month over month up 36%, and showing appointments through our showing time MLS, we're able to access the data there, up 56%. So January, even though you'll see the closed sales numbers are down, right? But future indicators, these two, Ines, what's your thoughts on how was your January in the market?
Listen, in our brokerage, I'm constantly asking our agents how there was, and they're exactly what this graph is showing. So a lot more showing appointments, which means those buyers that were on the fence on they were like totally freaked out at the increase of mortgage rates, are realizing it's not that bad, you know? And again, like I put it before, it was really, really extra good before, and you got lucky, you got really lucky if you bought, at 2.5%. The definitely sales we're seeing a decrease, but we're seeing an increase in pendings. So I can't wait to see what comes up in March when we see these closed sales that are pending right now. So we're going to start seeing a little shift in the market, but it is a normalizing market. Just know that, that craziness had to reach a point where they needed to get normal. Now, as realtors, we need to work again. It was like an easy couple of years there. And this just shows you that, let's get back to our groove, and get back to work.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, getting back to your craft and getting better in terms of looking at the statistics, where it comes even more important today. Okay, so let's take a look at our demand. So Miami it has a unique market demand, and these are just some of the points. Our migration gains, we'll have some data there. We have job growth, wealth influx, cash buyers, global buyers. Ines, of these, could you put into words just how Miami is different from a San Francisco, from a New York, from a LA?
Well, listen, they say that Miami is the capital of South America. And it's so close to the United States. I think that's like someone that's really popular now. We're different, in addition to having beautiful weather, in addition to having really diverse culture. We have really easy access to South America. We have all the languages possible here. Foreign money always coming our way. The tech that's coming our way, our taxes. I mean, these are just a few of the little things. So other cities can say they're good at one of these things, but we're good at all of them. We have it all. Sometimes it can be scary, because Miami has become such an incredible global powerhouse, and it happened, we seem to think, not so fast, but it did. It came at us really fast through the pandemic, when people realized, why do I need to live in a cold climate when I can live in Miami? And that's the reality. So I just love, there's one stat here that I think you may share later, that it's the amount of people that are moving. You have some stats of who's moving from a couple of countries, and that one just blows my mind. The amount of people that changed their addresses from the US Post Office. I think that's the one that you shared with me last month. So listen, it's exciting at the end of the day. Now, your role as a realtor is to know that all these things are happening, to debunk those people that think this is temporary, to know that there is a future, and this is a progression of other great things to happen in Miami. So just be ready to know the facts and to know what's coming our way as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, these are the two graphics. United States Postal Service change of address. Look which market is number one. It's Miami, of course. And then the other one is driver's license exchanges. Yeah, exactly. There's some people saying that New York is no longer moving to Miami. Well, this says otherwise because New York is up, according to these statistics from the Florida Department. Okay, and then also wanted to put in terms of migration, did you guys know this? Florida was the fastest growing state for the first time since 1957. That's a 2% increase, higher than any other state.
And remember that number, it's over 1,000 people moving to Florida per day. That's just, that blows my mind.
Yeah, no, that definitely blows my mind. It's incredible, incredible. Okay, so median sale price. I know this is a metric that is on a lot of people's minds. And so let's take a look at these fresh statistics that we are releasing to the media today. Yes, Miami continues price appreciation now in Miami-Dade County, more than 11 years of price appreciation, 11 years. And then Broward up, Palm Beach is up as well. And here's a look at historically where, you know, the peak in 2007, the bottom in 2011, and where we are now. And prices really took off, right, Ines? Probably around 2020, the pandemic, it really, they were trending up, but it went to another level there.
Yeah, well, they went to another level because there was, I mean, increasing demand and very, very low supply. But these charts say exactly what I said at the beginning. You're looking at this historic appreciation. And when you look at year over year appreciation in a particular market, and you're concerned about a 1 point increase in mortgage rates, you have to realize that one thing is going to overpower the other without a doubt.
Definitely. Okay. All right. So, and then this, I wanted to show all our viewers here. Goldman Sachs put together a forecast. They went over all the markets in the United States for price appreciation in 2023. What are the two markets that they predict for price appreciation? Of course, it's Miami and Baltimore is the other one. But what do you think about this forecast here?
Well, Baltimore caught me by surprise, I'll be honest, but Miami didn't. Now, this is a chart that every realtor in Miami should carry in their pocket. You know, keep a screenshot on your phone because this is huge. You know, you're comparing the rest of the country, and Miami and Baltimore, in very little, barely see it up there, but it's still up there, you know, are like, this is a really beautiful forecast. I think you and I talk about this all the time, Chris, that the media is always, I mean, negative news sells, you know, and it's up to us to debunk all those negative news, and especially saying how Miami is different and how Miami beats the odds. And it's not just us talking about how Miami beats the odds, it's proving it. And here you have a beautiful graph that proves it. So this is one that is really exciting to me.
Yeah, no, excellent. And taking it from different sources like Goldman Sachs to come out and have a forecast like this, it really emphasizes the point of how we are different. Okay, so let's move to the next slide here. Okay, and so perhaps why prices keep rising is supply and demand. So we know that inventory has been rising. If you've been following us the last 6 months, yes, it's been rising. But if you look historically, you could see that we're still below the average of where our inventory should be, our total active listings. So, you know, if supply and demand, low supply, prices have nowhere to go but up, right, Ines?
That's the only way. Listen, I mean, the law of economics are the law of economics. You know, we can't make up things. We can say, oh, this year it'll be different. There's a lot of demand, very little supply, but that's not going to be logical. Things are going to collapse. I mean, just there's a reason why we look at the law of economics. So absolutely, demand continues to be really high, and supply, although it's rising a little bit, which is exciting. And the reason I say exciting, I always need to explain myself, is because, you know, it's been favoring sellers for such a long time. And finally, we're going to have a normalizing market where sellers are going to negotiate. They're going to accept more normal terms. So that's why I think it's going to be great. There's nothing better than a balanced market where it's a win-win for both parties.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, you want a market that, favors both buyers and sellers. Exactly. Okay, and so here's another table here that shows where South Florida prices are in relation to other US metros and other global cities. And you could see, maybe why people from New York, why California, why they're moving here, because it's a bargain in comparison to New York, San Francisco prices, etc.
It's a bargain. And you know what? And we continue to hear it, from the New Yorkers and Californians. And we continue to hear this. Like, they're so shocked when they're looking at a $2 million condo in Sunny Isles, and they're like, oh my God, look at the view, the amenities. This is a bargain, because it is compared to there is. So again, I always like to translate it into, how can this help your business? Know your audience. If you know your audience is coming from a certain country, try to learn what's happening in that country, and try to understand how learn what's happening and know how to explain the differences and the disparities in the market, and why Miami could be such a great opportunity for them.
Definitely. Okay. And Ines, you talked about this a little bit earlier about how, it could be some speculation out there. Well, prices are rising so high, there's going to be another collapse, right? Is this another bubble? Well, this is a tale of two markets. And Ines, could you explain how 2023 is different from 2005 to 2008?
Listen, this is the second slide you should carry in your pocket. That's it. If you don't know the difference between that market in 2008 and today's market, then you need to go back and study the stats. But there was excessive borrowing. It all says it here. Speculation was huge. We were talking about creative loan products before, but it was different. They were exotic. They were, anyone could get approved for a loan. And right now, I think banks are being very careful who they lend their money to. So it's very different. There was a high number of foreclosures. I remember a couple of months ago, there was a gentleman that said, oh, these foreclosures are coming, and debunked once again. We are not seeing the numbers of foreclosures, even with those very, very low interest rates that they got. There were huge bankruptcies, which we're not seeing now. Now, today is a lot of positive cash flow, which again, this says it. Homeowners have equity in their homes. It's very, very different. Even if we look at the pre-construction world, those developers are not just giving their product away for nothing. You require at least 50% down to get into a pre-construction project, where before you needed zero down. So even that has changed in these years. We're seeing millennials come into the buying force, which is a huge difference as well. And they're very careful, very methodical on how they buy. So very different markets. Take a screenshot of this and make sure you save it in your pocket, just in case someone says to you, oh, I know we're seeing another 2008. And you can say, absolutely, there's no way.
Exactly. And here you could also take a screenshot of these two. So if we are having another 2008, you would see foreclosures rising, and you could see the graphic there. That's nationally. And they are not rising. And you could also see mortgage originations by credit score, still great credit score, exactly what you said. So let's move on to the next point is, yes, so home prices are rising, but are we talking enough about how much home buyer income is rising, and how much wealth, right? How much wealth has shifted to South Florida? And this right here is just one example of that, estimating the median home buyer income, but we need to talk a little bit more about that, right, Ines, about the wealth migration.
Listen, wealth migration is really exciting. It can't be all positive. I do have the conversation with some people saying, we're afraid that we can't afford the market anymore because there's such wealth migration into South Florida, and then is that going to push us out? So it's our job to know and anticipate how we can help these millennials that want to stay in Miami and are afraid to. But this is super exciting because Miami continues to get better and better. But what I say is this wealth migration also means that salaries are increasing. If salaries increase, it means you can afford Miami. So there's a lot of really positive ways to look at this wealth migration and not seeing, oh, prices are going sky high and I can't afford Miami anymore. So you have to be able to get down to the granular level of what that wealth migration means. So it's actually more positive than it is negative. And hopefully I wouldn't like my millennial kids to move out of Miami. So I'll do everything possible to keep them here.
We got to keep them here. And I'm sure there's, they will. Okay, and so this was a chart I put together. So, there might be an argument, why buy a home now? Rates are at 6%, 7%. But Ines, a lot of times people need to buy a home. It's not like a stock market where you could time it, right? And also, what's better than a fixed mortgage when your incomes are rising? But what is your take here on this slide?
Listen, do the math. Instead of guessing, take those historic appreciations, take all the advantages you're getting from the creative loan products, and really know, what happens if I don't buy now? Or the next question is, where are you moving to? So I've had a lot of conversations of, I'm moving up to North Florida, and I was like, okay, let's look at that market and what can you afford there? What is the appreciation in that market? And what can you sell that property in 3 years as opposed to what you can sell it here in Miami, knowing what our appreciation is. So it's a matter of really doing your homework and realizing that, again, that scary 1% increase in mortgage rates may not be as negative as you think it is once you put the numbers in front of you and you really dissect what is your monthly payments, what is this going to do to my insurance, my taxes, and the increase in that appreciation in that property in a few years from now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And some might be looking at, is it better to rent? But rent prices are increasing. And you could also make an argument that, there's the talk that US will be going into a recession. And then that could be a point where you could refinance if you do purchase. Okay, so let's take a look at statistics, brand new statistics we're releasing to the media, closed sales. But before we get into that, let's talk about last year. Last year, did you know, was the second highest total sales year in Miami-Dade history. Didn't get a lot of ink, but if you look at the statistics, it will show you number 2. And so you're looking at the top 2 best years in Miami-Dade history have happened in the last 2 years, which is incredible. In condo sales, we had the second best condo sales year. Okay, and so now let's get into, I'll go through each of these January 2023 numbers, and you can see, yes, we are down in sales numbers, but remember, you got to put it in context. It's in comparison to January 2021 when rates were January 2022 when rates were around 3 or 4%, I believe, and we have more inventory. And then I'll go over to Broward. Oh, here's Broward. Is down overall total sales. In Palm Beach. Okay. So next, let's go over demographics. This is a chart that one of my favorites too, that really shows where the population is in Florida. And Ines, how do you like this chart in terms of, check out the number of people that are born abroad in the prime home buying years.
Yeah, that just, I think you and I discussed this one a little bit ago. I love that. I love to see that whole diversity that we have here in Miami. I was telling one of our leaders that my office in Sunny Isles is culturally diverse. We have agents from every country. We have like Japan, China, every country in South America, Europe. So this is really great. That and the whole millennial generational statistics are just crazy, because again, I mentioned this before, I'm afraid for my own kids about Miami, and then all of a sudden I go, this makes me feel good. You know, that's definitely a good statistics to have. It used to be boomers, obviously. I mean, that's the big one. But millennials are staying strong with us.
Yeah, no, and you mentioned the global. I have a slide in here, but I wanted to go ahead and say that we've done the Miami Association of Realtors did a 2022 global study, and it tracks which are the top countries purchasing in South Florida. And so if everybody watching, if you want to go into the chat, why don't you, if you know, what was the #1 country that purchased in South Florida real estate in 2022? Just light up the chat and we'll see who has the winner a little bit later when we get to that slide. I don't know if we have any prizes, but we'll see when we get there. Okay, so here's a look at our population comparing 2011, 2020. You can see we have more residents ages 20 to 40 and more residents ages 55 and up. Okay, leveraging Market Watch on Matrix. Ines, is this something that you utilize in terms of, and how could realtors leverage this to get more listings and sales?
Listen, I always say our tools are second to none. Like what we provide, and by we, I hate to say we, at Miami Association of Realtors, obviously it's you, Chris, and the team.
No, it's you too.
But you need to know how to leverage these and make you smarter, you know, and at the end of the day, again, pick your personality. You do not have to be an economist. You do not have to be a data geek to be able to leverage these tools to help your customer understand what's going on. So I love what Matrix provides for us. I love what RPR provides for us, but just know, be ready, pick the things that interest you from these market reports and just put them in a way that is your voice. You know, put them in a way, what I always say is that the consumer right now has so much information, you know, and it's up to us as realtors to grab that information and make it interesting and put it in their face and say, this is what's going on. This is what's great. This is why you should or should not buy. So you always need to know, you know, everyone has different goals, and their goals may not be to buy right now. So I'm not saying always it's a yes, 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 buy, but you need to be smart. You need to anticipate the data. You need to grab these tools and just put them to use.
Yes, and we have more tools than anybody that you mentioned there. And so let's go ahead and go to the next slide. How could you leverage microdata? Speaking about tools, so are you guys familiar with SunStats on the Miami Gateway? Well, I'll show you a little example of what you could produce there. That is free for Miami members. Are you familiar with our zip code reports? This is on, I mentioned earlier, sfmarketintel.com, right? We have zip code reports, every single zip code, not just in Miami, but Broward, Palm Beach, Martin. And we have city reports as well. And Ines just mentioned RPR. And this is an example of what you could pull in RPR. Again, it's free for Miami members. And this is also free for Miami members. If you're not using it, you should, because I was able to do this infographic really in about 1 minute. You pick your metrics, you pick your city, and you have your your picture and your information there at the bottom. Very easy to share. Okay, and so next metric, Ines, is new pending sales. So let's take a look. Overall, year over year, they are down, but take a look at that spike and what's happened. That's what we noticed when looking over the data. You can see month over month, it's up, and it's up for all of, for Broward County, month over month, right? And Palm Beach County, here's Palm Beach County stats. Okay. All right, let's move along to dollar volume, sum of all sale prices in a given time period. And these are for the 3 counties, the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Ines, this boggles my mind every time I look at it. And even though it's down 45%, Miami-Dade is still in the month of January, 1.1 billion, Palm Beach, 1.2 billion. This really speaks to the power of South Florida real estate, right?
Without a doubt. without a doubt. And sometimes I always tell agents, don't just compare the month before. So I love to see the year over year. And I would love to see year over year compared to other similar markets than Miami, just to see how we're doing differently. Because again, you can see negative 45% for Miami-Dade County, but the reality is that, you look at a market, I don't know, like Tennessee, I'm just being very random, and that may give you a completely different perspective. So this also tells you, again, know your audience, know where that client is coming from or where they're going to, and know how to explain the differences between the market. But again, the volume that comes into our markets in South Florida are pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I like your point about comparing it to other markets. Yeah, for example, in the price appreciation, San Francisco this month is down year over year in price appreciation, and we are not. Okay, months of supply. This is a look on how. Well, first let me go back here. Months of supply, as Ines mentioned, we want a balanced market. We want 6 to 9 months. Less than 6 months is a seller's market, and more than 9 months is a buyer's market. Obviously, we're in a seller's market. We've been in a seller's market for a long time now, when you look at the county, right? But when you look at, if you want to break it down into a neighborhood or zip code, you can break it down into a price range. It's different. It could be buyers. And this is how, for all the new realtors that are, or new viewers that are watching, this is how you could calculate the months of supply. It's the number of sales in a previous 12 months. And you divide that by 12, it'll give you the average of closed sales. And then it's current inventory divided by average of closed sales. And that will give you the months of supply, 2.7 in that case. And so this is a trend that we've been watching. And for the last, I want to say the last 6 months, has been trending up. It had really bottomed out to, I believe, around 2 months, very low. And so now we're seeing that increase. So that's, Ines, that's good news, right, for the market.
Listen, it's good news because there really was no inventory.
Yeah.
It got to a point where we had to be creative, door knocking and trying to figure out properties for our buyers to get. And that increase now, it means that the market is normalizing. It means, again, what we mentioned before, that now it will have the ability to favor a buyer and a seller, and it won't be a lopsided market. So definitely it's a positive thing that we're seeing, and it's a gradual increase. And even if we go back to the numbers where we were before, it'll be a healthy market. So by no means interpret this to be an unhealthy market because we're seeing more inventory.
Yeah. And the key here also is new listings. We want that fresh supply. And so we're also looking at the new listings, make sure that is increasing. That has been trending down, but we're keeping an eye on it. And then, so this is 1 million and above months of supply. It's 9.3 months. And that has been increasing up 86%. And we recently had a meeting with Ron Sheffield, incredible mind. And he was telling us in terms of luxury, 9.3 months is actually pretty healthy. And actually it could even go higher than that. 12 months of supply is okay for luxury. And then, so this is a little data that breaks down by price point. And you can see how, for instance, the, luxury market for condos is 9.9 months in January. So that is a buyer's market. It's over 9 months. So.
Yeah. And I keep telling you, we need to redefine what luxury is in Miami because of that influx of wealth. Our luxury market has been redefined already. So I'm going to work on you, Chris.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And I remember that because when we met with Ron Sheffield, I asked him, how would you define, he's been here for so many years. How would you define luxury? And he said 2 million and up.
Yeah, I agree. I would go 2.5, but yeah, we're right there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And so this is what we call hot markets. It looks at the lowest months of supply and it breaks it down. This is by Q4. Miami Gardens, it ranks the hottest market in single family. And Fontainebleau is number one for condos. Any of these markets, Ines, that stand out or you like to?
Listen, I always tell, it's funny. You have agents saying, what are the hot markets? Again, take a screenshot. This is crazy to think that Miami Gardens has the lowest month supply is just nuts. So 2.5 between Miami Gardens and Homestead. So if you work those markets, just know exactly what's going on. But at the same time, no, change is coming, and you can see the other markets around these to know where it's going. But take full advantage of knowing. I'm looking at Doral, for example. Our headquarters are based in Doral, and that's really exciting to see condos month supply at 3.2. And for my agents that don't even have to come up with absorption rates and know the formulas because our systems spew them out, just be happy. You're welcome.
Yeah, definitely. And we got all these are from our reports that we post on sfmarketintel.com. If you go to our Q4, you will see zip code reports and you will see city reports, and it has these different metrics that's exactly where I pulled these. And this is a look at Broward, hottest market, Pembroke Pines, and in single family, and Margate for condos. Looking at Palm Beach, Boynton Beach ranks number one. Palm Beach Gardens for condos. And here's a look at, yeah, Martin County. Okay, active inventory. So inventory rises when new listings are outpacing the number of listings that go off market. So let's take a look at the numbers. And yes, we have mentioned this over and over in this webinar. Inventory is up, and you hear the numbers up almost 30% in Miami-Dade. Broward's up. Palm Beach. Broward and Palm Beach had less inventory. They went more. They hit a lower point than Miami-Dade, so that's why they're increasing at a faster rate. Okay, so median price of original price received. What percent are they coming to terms? Almost 95% at listing in Broward and Palm Beach. This has always been the case that, I think during the pandemic it was 100, and even if it could go over 100, it would, right, Ines?
Yeah, for sure. No, there was a lot of sales. I mean, how many properties sold in a couple of hours, $200,000-$300,000 above asking. So it was definitely a really crazy market. I do have, and I just wonder about like the price changes from these. So we're seeing a lot of properties that are still massively overpriced. So you have a perception that the market is going down in pricing, is depreciating. And the reality is that there were sellers out there that continue to overprice their houses, their properties, just to test the market. And those are the ones that are sitting on the market a little longer. So in my opinion, we're gonna see these numbers starting to get skewed, but it's not because the market is going down by any means. It's because those sellers need to be realistic about what's happening to the market today. And those houses that are priced correctly are selling at market. And we're still seeing prices go up in micro markets throughout Miami-Dade County and Broward as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, that overpriced to test the market. Yeah, that'll definitely play a role in that statistic. Okay, median time to contract. How long does it take to come to terms? Okay, in Miami-Dade, it takes 42 days. In Broward, 34. Palm Beach, 35. Ines, I follow this economist for Housing Wire. His name is Logan, and he talks about if your median time to contract is a teenager in the teenage years, it's not healthy. So at one point we were at 17 days, 18, and so now we've grown up and we're out of college and we have a nice job.
I love that. That's amazing. I'm gonna steal it. I love it, Chris.
Okay, all right. To wrap it up, to recap, our active listings are down. This is actually a statistic, 48.7% versus pre-pandemic. Ines mentioned this, that our chief economist forecasts mortgage rates at 5 to 5.5. Our sales are down because of comps, and the prices should continue to rise because of our low inventory in certain price points. All right, here's to recap some of the tools that we have. And this is our international study that I mentioned earlier. You could download it, study. It's miamirealtors.com/global. And Ines, I don't have access. The chat button isn't working. Who was the first? Could you look in there and see who?
I'm looking. The first one said Canada. Then we had a Colombia. Argentina.
There it is. Number one was Argentina.
Okay, so the first one that said Argentina was Manuel Pacheco.
All right, congrats. Good job.
Manny. Woo-hoo.
Great. Yeah, so you could get that information and a lot more. There's about, I think, 80 pages of info in that study. Okay, and we mentioned this. This is our SunStats. We have co-brandable materials. I wanted to put this on here. This is top 20 reasons to buy in Miami, top 20 reasons Broward. We have it, there's the website, and you could put your company logo there. I want to make sure that you guys know that. We also have Photofy. This is to help you on social media. You have preset templates that once you register, by the way, it's free. It's free for Miami members. You just have to, register and put your information in, but it helps, because realtors are on the go, and this gives you a ready-made template. Say if you have an open house, you could upload it to Facebook or wherever you want to upload. And these are the stat reports that I mentioned. This is on sfmarketintel.com. For example, these are all the reports there. And our market focus infographics, videos, and reports. Also, shout out to our design team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I love these. Love these.
Yeah.
Miami's design team is on the money.
Yeah, they are definitely on the money. A great job this week, and we're having some technical difficulties on our website. Not sure if we've uploaded, we finished it yet, but I'm sure by the end of today, or if not tomorrow, we will have everything up. I will definitely be on that to make sure. These are zip code and city reports, RPR we talked about. Also Miami trainers. So if you have any question, Ines mentioned all of our services. We have 250 services that are exclusive to Miami members. If you have a question on SunStats, you have a question on RPR, you have a question on Photofy, these three are incredible. They put on classes, and this is their webpage and their email. Connie, Christy, and Tyson. And okay, so in terms of cross-market demand, I want to check yeah, we're still good on time. Miami-Dade cross-market demand. So this is which counties are looking at Miami-Dade listings outside of the state. And New York is number one. Ines, how could realtors leverage this right here to get more business?
Okay, I always say market where the money's coming from. I think it's that simple. If you know that New York, Fulton, and Loudoun County are looking into our markets, this is a great opportunity for you to know where to market. I get this question all the time. Oh, I don't know what to do to market my listing. Guess what, guys? You have it right here, and you have tons of ways that you can use social media and your online presence to get to the people that are looking at our market. So this is gold. You have no excuse to not market yourself in creative ways with the amount of information that Miami Realtors provides to you. So this is one of the best tools you can use right now, is knowing where to put your ads, your Facebook ads, and whatever else you're doing, and your retargeting is by knowing where these buyers are coming from.
Excellent, love it. Yeah, you couldn't have said it even better. That's great. And then so let's check out Broward County, which of course is number one, is New York, and again Georgia number two, and Loudoun County for Virginia. Here's a look at Palm Beach. This one, take a look at how many New York counties.
Crazy.
They love Palm Beach. And here's Martin County. Okay. And so this is my information, Chris at miamire.com. And and no, wow. So I think we 51. I think we did a great job. Ines, is there anything else you want to say? You were incredible. Thank you so much.
This is a lot of information, so you guys must be like overwhelmed. I would tell you, I can't stress, be the expert, add your voice to the data, know your customers, speak directly to them with useful information. An example that my agents are always laughing at, and you may laugh at me as well. We have let's assume you have a buyer that's a cash buyer, that's an investor in Allapattah. Look at Allapattah, how many cash buyers in Allapattah? One of the stats that I have here, 60% of all deals in Allapattah are cash, which means if your client says, get me a deal because I'm a cash buyer, you're gonna say, no, actually, you're not that special. Most deals are cash. So know what markets, know your micro markets at a level that really is going to help your client be successful and have the right expectations. And I always say, put your voice in there. My voice is completely different than Chris's, and that's perfectly fine. Your clients will be attracted to what you bring to the table. So just bring value and use what tools Miami Realtors provides and put them in your own, not only voice, but whatever ways that you promote yourself out there, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or blogging or whatever else that you use. But I love these, and Chris does such an amazing job putting these together. And the fact that you have different leaders and they give you different ways of looking at the data and what to do with it. So just make sure you come back on a monthly basis and visit Chris. And I can't say kudos enough to the design team. I think we've already said this before, but they're absolutely amazing, and they keep just impressing me every day.
Yeah, you are amazing too. Thank you, Ines, for your time here. I think you helped a lot of members online, and thank you for everything that you do, volunteering your time for our association for so many years. So thank you, Ines, and thank you to everybody for logging on today.
Well, thank you, Chris. Be great, guys. Thank you for having me.